I'd like to introduce our first presenter. A year ago, she was teaching English. Now, a new mother, our next opening presenter still finds time to work on her fiction writing. Please, welcome back to GCHS, Miss Kim Oclon.
Hello. I'm glad Mr. Houck asked me to come back so I could read something for you guys. This is an excerpt from a short story called Hanging by a Thread. It's about a senior in high school. Her name is Nina, and her mom died about 6 months ago, and she's coping with her mom's death by knitting a lot, almost obsessively. And she does it in school all the time, and she was just told that she should probably not do it in school anymore. And this is when she gets home from school. Oops. At home, Nina dropped her bags on the floor of her bedroom and wrapped a purple afghan around her shoulders, hugging it as she folded her arms. The blanket seemed to hug Nina back in a way Carrie never could and in a way her dad didn't try. Streets, Nina's gray cat, leapt on the bed and nuzzled her leg through the thick afghan. Nina poked her hand out and rubbed his head behind the ears before picking him up and letting him sit on her crossed legs. The afghan fell off her shoulders and settled in a pool around her body. It was the first project she and her mom had made together, this huge afghan that gradually faded from a dark eggplant color to that of a purple crayon, to lavender, to white. Nina dragged her bag of supplies to the bed and took out her knitting needles and a fresh spool of multicolored yarn. The needles and yarn suddenly blurred together into a watery rainbow. Nina wiped her eyes and tried again. She finally began to knit, going from slow and methodical to fast and fervent. She didn't notice Streets fall asleep in her lap or hear her dad come home and turn on the TV in the family room. Loop after loop after loop. Nina's hand moved like a machine. The green yarn gradually weakened to yellow. She thought about Tara and her stupid friends, Carly with her sparkly eyes, and the yellow burst into orange. Mr. Ritter thinking he was doing something nice. Mr. Goers and his dumb walkie-talkie. The orange ignited into red. That bitch, Mrs. Warren, what did she know? She remembered her mom praising her first attempt, the blue pot holder with uneven sides and loose edges that began to come loose even before she could give the present to her dad. The red blossomed into purple, the end couch cushion where her mom always sat, where she sat, watching TV and knitting, reading and knitting, talking to Nina and knitting. A tentative knock on her bedroom door awakened Nina from her trance. She breathed as if just completing the 12-minute run in PE class. "Nina," her dad's voice called, "are you in there?" "Yeah, Dad." She imagined her dad standing outside the door with the top button of his shirt undone, sleeves rolled up, shoulders sagging. "Okay, just making sure." Nina heard his feet pad down the hallway, causing the floor to squeak slightly. The squeaking stopped halfway down. "Do you have homework?" Her dad's voice filtered in through the space between the door and the bedroom floor. "I'll get to it soon." Nina heard the feet turn again. "Dad," she called, staring at her brown bedroom door. His voice sounded farther away. "Yeah?" "Dad, they won't let me knit in school anymore," Nina said to the door. As soon as she said it, her throat felt like it was closing. "That's okay. You can knit at home whenever you want to." The footsteps started up again and soon faded. Nina sat perfectly still for a moment before realizing her hands were still clenched around the knitting needles. Her fingernails made little indentations in her palm. She opened and closed her hands a few times, bending each finger as if her knuckles and joints were rusted out. Nina noticed the length of yarn that coiled at her side like a deflated rainbow. She picked it up and tugged it, checking to see how much it stretched. It was a good start, but it needed to be longer, thicker, and stronger. Thank you.